Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about something important. Stop calling Chinese New Year as Lunar New Year. Nowadays, many people, including some Chinese people, call Chinese New Year Lunar New Year. However, this is not just a small naming mistake. It actually reflects a misunderstanding about the Chinese traditional calendar system. So why is this incorrect? Why shouldn't we call it Lunar New Year? And why is the correct name Chinese New Year? In this video, we'll explain this step by step. Once we clarify the difference between the pure lunar system and the Chinese traditional calendar, the answer will become very clear. Let's begin. Let's first clarify three basic calendar systems. First, the pure lunar calendar. A pure lunar calendar is based entirely on the movement of the moon and the phases of the moon. It does not consider the sun or the seasonal cycle. A typical example is the Islamic calendar, because it does not follow the solar year, as New Year can occur in any season. Second, the pure solar calendar. A solar calendar is based on the Earth's movement around the sun and the seasonal cycle. The Gregorian calendar used internationally today is a solar calendar, so its dates remain aligned with the seasons. Third, the Chinese traditional calendar. The Chinese calendar is neither purely lunar nor purely solar. Instead, it is a lunisolar calendar that combines both systems. The moon determines the structure of the months. For example, the first day of a moon corresponds to a new moon, and the 15th day usually corresponds to a full moon. However, the sun is used to regulate the year and maintain alignment with the seasons. Because of the solar adjustment, Chinese New Year always occurs in late winter or early spring. This is the fundamental reason why it cannot be accurately described as a purely lunar festival. Now, let's briefly look at the historical origins of the Chinese traditional calendar. The Chinese calendar has a very long history. As early as 4,000 years ago, ancient Chinese scholars were already observing both the sun and the moon to measure time. An early text called Sha Xiaozheng recorded seasonal changes and astronomical observations. Ancient observers used the sun to understand seasonal patterns, such as the length of the days and the nights, and used the moon to divide time into months. Later, during the Han Dynasty, astronomers compiled the Taichu calendar, which formally integrated solar and lunar calculations into a unified system. This calendar introduced the concept of leap months, ensuring that the lunar months remained consistent with the seasonal cycle. This lunisolar system represents an important achievement of ancient Chinese astronomy and is considered as one of the most sophisticated calendar systems in the ancient world. Because this calendar system was developed within Chinese civilization and closely connected with China's agricultural life, it is called the Chinese traditional calendar. Therefore, the New Year based on this system is naturally called Chinese New Year. Now, let's use Chinese New Year itself as an example. Take Chinese New Year in 2026, this year. In the Gregorian calendar, it falls on February 17th. To determine this date, two conditions must be satisfied simultaneously. First, it must occur on a new moon, which reflects the lunar component of the calendar. Second, it must fall around Lichun, or the beginning of spring, which is one of the 24 solar terms in the Chinese calendar. These solar terms are based on the sun's position and ensure that the calendar remains aligned with the seasonal cycle. The Chinese New Year is determined by both lunar phases and solar terms. If the festival were based on a pure lunar calendar, its date would shift freely across the seasons, similar to the Islamic New Year. However, Chinese New Year consistently appears between late winter and early spring, precisely because the calendar incorporates solar regulations. In addition, the festival is closely connected with traditional Chinese agricultural life. Historically, this period marked the transition towards spring farming activities. For this reason, Chinese New Year is not simply a lunar festival. It is the cultural celebration rooted in the Chinese traditional calendar and Chinese civilization. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.